friends, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do another edition of the One Set 4 Ways, and I'll be using Hello Bluebird's Pig Day and the Down on the Farm Doodlebug 6x6. So I've got a bunch of images in this dish here that I colored during the Daily Marker 30-Day Coloring Challenge. And so I've got all of these images that I can use on some cards. So for today's card, I'm just going to pull out the pigs from Pig Day. These are the main images from that set. And then I'm also going to go through and pull out some additional little accessory images. Some of them are from the Pig Day set and others are from other Hello Bluebird sets. I colored only Hello Bluebird during the Daily Marker 30-Day Coloring Challenge. I thought it would be fun to just get some use out of those stamp sets since they were, a lot of them were new to me and I hadn't had a chance to really use them that much. So that way I have all these images that are very compatible with one another as well. So it's easy to make cards. So right now I'm just separating out a bunch of these images. I'm not sure what I'll be using on the cards at this point. I definitely will not be using all of them, but I just wanted to have all my options available to me. So I actually started this One Set 4 Ways series after a Daily Marker 30-Day Coloring Challenge because I had all these images and I wasn't sure what to do with them. So that's where the idea was born. And I've done that occasionally. This is episode 4, so if you are interested in seeing the other ones, you can go back and look through the playlist that I have for those. So now moving on to my assembly, and I'm using a couple of Lawn Fawn dies. I used the Stitch Journaling Card die, a stitched hillside, and then a grassy border, and I'll have all of the ones that I used linked in the description bar below the video for you. Before I continue on, I want to stamp my sentiments, and I'm using Lawn Fawn Walnut ink. I'm going to stamp a different sentiment on each of these little craft colored borders, which are going to be the mud or the dirt. I'm not going to show all of the stamping because it's pretty monotonous, but I will show you guys at the end how I have 4 different ones. And I also have 2 different orientations. I did 2 in the vertical orientation and 2 in the horizontal. So now I'm just going to separate out my grassy borders. I got 2 out of each Stitch Journaling card, so they're going to line up perfectly. Just throw away the little bit of excess there. And I'm going to use the Lawn Fawn glue tube to adhere all my pieces together. I'm going to be taking a craft panel and adhering the grassy panel right behind that so it pokes out at the top. It's going to add a nice bit of dimension to my scene and a nice pop of color as well. So the green is MFT's Sour Apple, the craft is from Gina K, and the light blue is MFT's Snow Cone. So that will be my sky. And for the vertical panels, I'm adhering them exactly the same way, just changing up that orientation so that I have a little bit more variety in this set of 4 cards. Once I have all 4 focal panels assembled, now I can start to add on my images. I'm going to lay out the pigs first, since that is kind of the focal image of each focal panel. And then I can begin to accessorize with all the little additional images that I have on the side there. So I'm just going to go through and play and make different little scenes. It's almost like having paper dolls where you could, you know, just dress them up in different ways. In this case, I'm just dressing up focal panels, trying things here and there and seeing how I like them, moving them around. I'm not using any glue at this point so that I can shift as necessary and switch things around. So I wanted to make sure to add at least 1 additional little critter on each focal panel. So on 2 of them I have little ducklings, on 1 I have a small mouse, and then on the other one I have a bird. And then I'm going to also accessorize with some different veggies that are from, the veggies are from McGregor's Garden. And then I have some flowers. Those are from the Pig Day stamp set as well. So just kind of moving things around and seeing what works and how I like it and just building my scenes that way. For the veggies and the flowers, I did make sure to tuck those in between the layer of the dirt and the grass so that it almost looks as if we're in a garden scene and those are kind of blossoming out of the earth there. And then I will also, especially on the taller ones, I want to make sure to add a little bird or a butterfly or something to kind of fill in that sky area since the panel is taller. I just didn't like all that empty space up there, so I just wanted to make sure to kind of keep your eye moving throughout the scene by varying things at different heights. So once I'm happy with how I have everything laid out, I'm going to go ahead and just push the other images aside. I'm not going to use any more, and I can start to adhere these down with some liquid glue. Now that the focal panels are finished, I'm going to pop the card bases in the MISTI, and I'm going to stamp some additional images. I'm using a different pig and a different sentiment on the inside that kind of corresponds with the pig and sentiment that I used on each outside. And now I'm ready to begin assembling. For card 1, I'm going to take this black and white gingham print and I'm going to adhere that down to cover the entire front of my card base. And then I'm going to take this red kind of paisley print, sort of reminds me of a bandana. I'm going to shift that one over to the left. And then I will tuck in this kind of blue denim print way over on the left in between those so that I have a little pop of blue as well. I thought that was a really pretty combination. I've added some foam tape to the back of each of my focal panels, so I'm just going to pop this one down right where I want it, just making sure to line that up so I had a bit of that red showing through on the left. And now I can move on to card 2. For card 2, I'm going to use this blue, it's kind of a denim blue print, but it's got little tiny tone-on-tone animals on there, farm animals, and that's going to cover the entire front of my card. I got a little sloppy with the glue there, so I'm just going to wipe that up with my finger and adhere these pieces right over top so you won't even tell. But I've got the red and white gingham, and then I've got this little piggy print that I'm going to add right underneath that. And then once again, I'm going to peel off the release papers for the foam tape and pop that one down right in the center. And card 2 is done. For card 3, I'm starting with this red and white checked gingham, and this reminds me of the lining of the inside of a picnic basket, so I think it's really nice and homey, farm style. And then I'm going to take those little pigs once again. I'm going to add that over to the right hand side. I'm going to get my focal panel lined up where I want it before I add that little piece of blue because I want to make sure that I have it in just the right position. So I'll add a bit of glue to the back of that, and then I'm going to slide that in down on the left for another pop of color. For card 4, I'm going to take this red paisley print and I'm going to adhere that one to cover my card base. By the way, these were all A2 standard size cards, so they are 4 1/4 tall or wide by 5 1/2 tall, one way or the other, depending whether I did the portrait or landscape style. I popped the black and white check down in the center and then added the little strip of blue denim print over on the left. And then I'm going to just add my focal panel right there in the middle, nice and centered, and that completes card number 4. So I'm going to bring in the rest of the cards now so you can see them all together. So they definitely look like a cohesive set, but they could be given separately as well. So there's a peek at the insides of each of the cards, so you can see how the sentiments kind of pair with the sentiments and images on the outside as well. And these all came together rather quickly. If you're someone who participates in the Daily Marker 30-Day Coloring Challenge, or even if you just like to color a lot of images in advance and have them on hand for quick and easy cards, you can definitely whip out a bunch of these in a pretty quick fashion. It just takes a little bit of prep work to cut down your pattern papers and such in advance, but you can really make one stamp set stretch a long way when you do like a bunch of cards like this at once. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would love to have your support. If you want to make sure that my videos always end up in your feed, just go ahead and hit that little notification bell. Here's 2 extra videos you may also enjoy, so hopefully those will tide you over until the next one. Until then, I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye-bye.